Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, Dave, it's been a minute. Episode 50.
Wow.
It's the 50 set piece.
There we go.
Here we are. We hit the 50 mark. Dave, how do you feel about that, buddy?
Brent, I just got to say, I've missed your voice, buddy. I've missed
I heard that you...
you know what? The dulcet tones of Brent Keaton is what I need in my life.
I heard that you set my intro up as a ringtone on your phone. Is that true?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but you know what?
My God, it's an obsession. I love
I
it.
talk to him every day, so I hear the voice all the time.
You gotta
Day
go
and
with
night, it's like all the time.
Yeah, I know. He does. I know.
Just,
It's in the head, and it's just like you might have to.
It's a leaf.
You might have to get that expunged. You know,
Right.
it could get annoying after so long.
It's like a Brent Keaton pizza box. I can't get it to leave.
Yeah, it stays around. I know. It's been a minute, guys. Like Steve Retzer took a little bit of a sabbatical. A 2-month hiatus there, and me and Dave were working hard. And you're on vacation at some beach or something. What's going on? Just kidding, Steve. Just kidding. I'm messing with you,
Looking
buddy.
forward to it in May, though.
Yeah, you got to make.
Going a little.
I know. Me.
VK in May.
I know. I had to get on you there. No, guys, we're back in action. Season 2, we're here. We finally, season 1, we did, it was a good year. Of course, we wrapped it up pretty well. But today we're going to get to a few different topics.
Yes.
And the first one is Browns news and notes, thoughts on the coaching staff and other news, except for the free agents. So we're going to get right into it. Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, take us in there on the Browns news and notes.
All right, boys. I am going to start with the offensive coordinator. As we know, Todd Monken's your head coach. He hired Travis Switzer.
Yep.
He's formerly the Ravens run game coordinator.
Yep.
Switzer brings a run-focused background to complement Todd Monken's passing schemes.
Yes.
Monken likes to pass. As
Yes.
you know. He was Monken's first major hire since being appointed head coach.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds good on paper since they've worked together in Baltimore, but only problem is he's never been an offensive coordinator before, Dave.
Well, the other problem, Steve, is he's not bringing Derrick Henry with him. That would be kind of nice if he did, though, and maybe Lamar as well. But
right, can we get the roster too?
Exactly. Yeah. There you go, Steve.
Well, at any rate, it will be interesting to see how Switzer involves our running back,
Yes.
Quinshon Judkins,
Mm-hmm.
who should be back from injury
Mm-hmm.
with Monken's passing attack. Monken is going to do the play calling, by the way.
Yes.
He announced that. We've seen this show before with Kevin Stefanski, but I think Monken has much more experience and came from a winning organization being in Baltimore.
Right.
It should be fine, just depending on if he could draft a receiver or two to help with that passing game.
Yes.
That's
the clear need and
You
upgrade.
don't want Jerry Jeudy to be your one. You prefer him to actually be number 3 if you can.
I'm sure that we'll be talking about that more as we get into the draft, Steve. That's for sure.
That's right. Overall, Switzer, it isn't a big name hire, but Monken will be calling the plays anyway. So I'm willing to see what Switzer can do as an OC in the league.
Yeah, I have to say this, Steve. I find it interesting. I still think this is Monken's offense that they're going to be running, guys.
Yeah.
I think Switzer will be there to, try to, influence the run game a little bit. But just make no bones about it. I still think this is a Todd Monken offense. I've always been a little bit, about coaches who call their own plays, certain coaches that do it better than others. I mean, if you get Kyle Shanahan's or you get Sean McVay's or Andy Reid's, that's a different kind of level.
Yeah.
But, I'm interested to see, next year, just what kind of a balanced attack they have offensively. They're going to get Judkins back off of injury. What does this offense look like as far as pass-run dynamic next year with these two two guys?
Exactly. And I hope Judkins comes back from this injury
Mm-hmm.
and can still punch, really get the carries and the yards. I hope he's going to be 100%.
Yeah, I expect him to. I expect him to be back.
He's still young.
Yeah,
Still young.
Well,
Older age, I think a little different story.
That's true. I mean, if he was further along in their career, good point, Brent. I think we'd be more concerned about that. I do think that there's going to be an interesting role of Sampson or Sanders or these other backs, or do they look at another back later in the draft? because you always want that complimentary back to Judkins as well. So, yeah, I'm just interested to see the influence of Switzer and the run game next year in 2026 too, Steve.
Exactly. All right, guys, I'm going to get into the defensive coordinator. And Todd Monken hired Mike Rutenberg. He replaces Jim Schwartz, which is our tough shoes to fill, guys. He was the Falcons' defensive pass game coordinator and plans on keeping the 4-3 defense, actually the wide 9 attacking defensive scheme, Dave.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I had in my notes, Steve, is, he ran a 3-4 scheme last year in Atlanta. They run a 4-3 now with the Browns. Do they keep the wide 9 scheme? Also, I'm going to get into pass coverage too with him here in just a second. But he actually had an attacking defense in Atlanta. They generated a lot of sacks there last year.
Yeah, they had a good front 7.
Yes.
Right, Dave?
Yep.
Expect to see this wide 9 front and man-to-man defense in the secondary like he did last year. This is the first season he will be a defensive coordinator in the league. So it should be interesting to see if he can do his best Jim Schwartz impression and manage a top 5 defense from last season. He learned under Robert Saleh. He's in the Browns. They're keeping Jason Tarver and Ephraim Banda. So I'm hoping we don't see much or any change from last season, Dave.
We'll see.
I don't want to see a whole lot of change.
That's why I thought they made, and we talked about this a little bit in the offseason. I thought they might promote from within. Obviously he's got big shoes to fill here with Schwartz. So, replacing one of the better defensive coordinators in the league, Brent.
I actually feel that the tone of the locker room is going to be different with this regime. More accountability. There's going to be better unity within the coaches. I think Stefanski ran that thing like a country club. I don't think he did anything to keep these guys. You know why players like him, Stefanski? Because they can skate. They can get away with shit. Go ahead.
Can I just say this, Brian? I think you've kind of won me over on Monken. You were more in on Monken than maybe I was, because there were 2 or 3 other coaches that I preferred over Monken. Also on top of that, I was a Schwartz guy. Promote from within. He'd been a coach before. All those things. The players loved him. So I was there, but I'm starting to get there with Monken. I agree with you. I like his no-nonsense kind of approach.
It's a close one between him and Schwartz. The problem with the Schwartz hire, if it would have went that way, would have been simply then the Schwartz get the OC.
Right, that's true.
And if he doesn't, then what do you got? I think Steve and I talked about this numerous times. If you don't get the OC fixed, then that's where our weakness is. So you got to fix the offense, right?
Well, you need that quarterback whisperer or developer. If Shador is the guy going forward, especially too. So.
I actually think the way Monken, Retzer, he didn't like Stefanski even years ago.
Yeah,
and I just didn't pick up on it. And now I get Stefanski. He's more of a. I can see why he would do good early on with a team, but as years would progress, think about it. If you're around somebody for years, you kind of see other warts.
Well, and we'll see how Monken deals with Jimmy and the crew.
Yeah, that's true.
And the management that is Berea. But,
don't forget, he was with the coaching staff in 2019. He was the OC under Larry the Cable guy.
Yeah, but that was different.
He's been in the Browns organization, Dave, is all I'm saying.
To be fair, Monken has seen the clown show before.
He has.
Larry the Cable guy. I'll tell you what, by the way, you know that I had great Spectrum cable when he did stop by and put that in back in, what was it, 2019 or 18? Well, I'll tell you what, it worked out great. Actually got a good price, too. But anyways, continue.
By the way, ruined one of the more talented Browns rosters I've seen in recent memory. Imagine a team with Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, and Denzel Ward, and that team wins only 6 games in 2019.
Makes you sick.
It does.
Yeah, that's
continue,
bad.
Steve. Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, Rutenberg will be calling the defensive plays according to Todd Monken. So I hope he does it well so that Monken can improve the offense, as we just mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this, boys.
Yes.
The Browns hired senior assistant Dom Capers. So I'm very excited about that hire. He will be there to counsel. Yes, I was about to get there. He'll be there to counsel Rutenberg and the young coaches. And, yep, that's right. Dom, like the old Chris Berman
Steve,
phrase on
your
Sports Center
job,
back
please.
in the day.
Yeah, this is wow.
Hey, If you have Dom Capers on your coaching staff, that's a good thing.
He's a good defensive
Is
mind.
President Clinton still in office?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an old timer. I
Yeah.
did forget to see how old he is. He's probably like 80 years old.
I was going to say, I think he's in his 80s.
Yeah, Dom's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah. So, any rate, we will see if Rutenberg can run the defense, and it helps having the players the Browns do on defense, so I think we're going to be okay there.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get into special teams, guys, and Byron Storer, he's replacing Bubba Ventrone.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Good riddance.
I mean, I like Bubba Ventrone when he was a special teams player, but a special teams coach, it was bad last year, guys. I don't know if it could have gotten any worse. I would take anyone at this rate. So, Byron Storer, I hope you do a good job, guy. He brings 12 years of NFL coaching experience and previously served as the assistant special teams coach for the Green Bay Packers. Let's hope he helps Andre Schmidt in the kicking game and has them cover well on punt and kick returns, something they didn't do last year. It seems like it can't get any worse from last season, guys. We got to give him a chance. I think time will tell with Storer.
Yes.
I don't know a lot about him. You know what I mean?
He's been around for a little while,
But
Steve.
yeah, 12 years.
Yes.
So.
So, and I thought I'll get into it here in just a second. He did do some positive things with the Green Bay special teams.
But overall, guys, I think the new hires, they're all in their first year at their coaching position. So we'll just have to see. Time will tell.
Yeah, I think the accountability is the biggest aspect of the coaching hires is that we're going to have better accountability. With any team or organization or business for that matter, if you just let people just do whatever they want, you don't check them.
Yep.
You deserve what you get, and that's losing. And that's, hate to say it, but that's the Browns. I mean, that's what they've been doing. They've been not accountable.
Oh yeah, it's a culture change. Brad.
Yeah.
We need a complete culture change.
And the Jimmy thing is an issue, but I don't want to put it all on Jimmy. I don't agree with
Stefanski
that.
was trying to be concentrated on that offense. He let Schwartz do the defense, which was successful.
Right.
And then Bubba didn't do a good job with special
Yeah,
teams. So
yeah.
He didn't
I
hold
do
anyone accountable, and it's coming out too.
Said this a little bit ago, but he's right. The coach's accountability, you could even make an argument that's bigger than the players.
Yeah.
Because if the coaches get in line with the message, then they can get on their guys.
Yeah.
And Todd Monken will keep players accountable. He's not afraid to say it. He's going to say it. He's going to say
That's
how
true.
it is.
And you know what though? I still feel to this day there was Kevin put on a good face.
Yeah, he did.
But he put on a good face.
He
Yeah,
smiled.
I don't think there was ever really the true chemistry there
No.
between him, Barry, and Jimmy, especially near the end, especially those last couple of years, especially after what was the Watson debacle.
And Jimmy, I'll give Jimmy credit. He likes the good old boys, and the good old boys are going to keep you in line. Not this, what's his name? Stefanski's corporate.
Yep.
And Monken's a no nonsense guy. So, all right, we're moving to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, get us some news and notes there.
Yeah, just going to give some thoughts on some of these coaches, just to kind of echo some of the things that Steve said and add a little bit here. Let's start with Travis Switzer. He spent the past 3 seasons in Baltimore as the run game coordinator. We said, Steve mentioned a little bit, they led the NFL in rushing yards at 166.9 per game and 5.3 on the rushing average, and rushes of 10 yards or plus, 230 over that span. It was amazing. Now, it did help. He had this guy named Derrick Henry, who rejuvenated his career there in Baltimore. He led all players, by the way, over that span with 4,683 yards rushing and 44 touchdowns. He was amazing, Steve. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of an influence he has on the running game. Again, I think Monken is there to help with the development of Shador and the quarterback position. That's going to be his calling card, Brent. We talked about
the offense.
Before.
And we do think that Stefanski, he regressed in his play calling, and he's going to get that ironed out.
Yeah, I think that it's just going to be interesting to see the run-pass dynamic. I think they would be better suited to kind of build their offense a little bit more around the run game, especially with having a younger quarterback, especially considering we don't know what the wide receiver position is going to look like next year. So I think putting more of a focus on the running game. And I was talking about this with a friend. I think the running game is actually making a comeback in the NFL over the course of the last few seasons.
Because of the defensive schemes. Now, I will say this about the Browns. I felt with the Stefanski regime last year, I felt the offensive schemes were very vanilla. They were very.
Talked about
I
that.
want motion. I want movement. I want proper, route running.
You talked about the under center versus shotgun.
Yeah,
exactly.
They were doing shotgun like, weren't they doing that a lot in first down or something? Like, they were just doing things that just didn't make sense.
Right, and I agree with you. The early calling card of the Kevin Stefanski offense was under center, play action kind of
they
stuff.
went away from that.
Exactly. Well, but
Flacco too.
But well, that's true. But I also think you have to have a running game to sell that. And I think
Judkins didn't hit his stride till a little bit late.
Exactly.
Yeah, good call.
I would make that point to kind of back that up. So,
but it didn't look off. That's what we're saying.
It did look off, especially early. I do. Well, I'm going to say it didn't get a whole lot better late, so I got to be careful with my words there. But yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of influence he has on this offense. I found it interesting. He began his career as an administrative assistant in Baltimore in 2017. He's, by the way, spent 10 years coaching in the NFL. He did play 4 seasons in Akron U. Fear the Roo, guys, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
That's right.
I'm just looking forward to how much this offense, again, is going to center around the ground game. Hopefully we have some positive effects on our ground game that he had in Baltimore with the Browns. On the defensive side, Rutenberg joins the Browns as defensive coordinator after spending 1 season with the Falcons as the defensive pass game coordinator. He has 14 years of coaching experience in the NFL. He previously spent 4 seasons as the linebacker coach for the Jets from 21 to 24. He was part of the only defense in the league that ranked in the top 5 in total defense over that span from 22 to 24. So the Jets did have a solid defense. By the way, the Falcons had a great pass rush last year. By the way, 13th ranked overall pass defense last year, but they were second in the NFL last year with 57 sacks. Actually finished ahead of the Browns, who were third with 53. So, again, he ran the 3-4 scheme in Atlanta. It's going to be interesting to see. They're going to move to the 4-3 with having Miles in the D line. The Browns ran man coverage more than any other team in the league. He's going to inherit a better secondary here. So I expect him to still play a fair amount of man because we like our corner, Steve. Campbell and Ward are a good combination.
Oh, yeah. I'm expecting to see man-to-man coverage there, Dave.
Yep. He helped San Francisco's defense finish 4th in passing defense, while it was also ranked in the top 10 in completion percentage and passer rating allowed. So he had a good influence, learned under Saleh there, by the way, when he was in San Francisco. Kind of a mentor. He has a solid track record, but he's got some big shoes to fill with Schwartz, Steve.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Special teams, I believe this is just an upgrade by subtraction. I agree with Steve. Brian Storer joins the Browns as special teams coordinator. He spent 4 seasons with the Packers as the assistant special teams coach from 22 to 24. He helped actually the Packers post their best 3-year mark on kickoff returns in team history with an average of 26 yards per game. By the way, the Browns ranked 31st last year in kickoff return yardage per return with 23.6.
Did we ever return anything?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We bemoaned. Remember the Jets game? We lost the Jets game on special teams. The kickoff return and the punt return. So in a game we probably never should have lost. He broke into the NFL when he was an assistant as special teams coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Assistant special teams coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2 seasons from 2010 to 2011. I think he'll be a solid hire. The special teams was a disaster under Ventrone. As I mentioned, the New York Jets loss was definitely tied to our special teams. If he can just improve the coverage units, Steve, and upgrade the return units a little bit, I think this will be a clear upgrade over our old buddy Bubba, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And if you ever notice, our kick returners, they always get injured the first game of the year. Yeah. So they always have to look for someone else. But no more excuses. And I want to see Storer do this job and do it better than Ventrone. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, just my overall thoughts on the coaches.
All right, we are going to move on to the Browns free agents, and we're going to talk about the players that they lost and the players they acquired in the offseason. We'll turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Brent, I'm going to start with Devin Bush. He signed with the Bears, got a 3-year deal of up to $30 million, with $21 million in guarantees. He's coming off of his best season, Steve. We talked about Devin Bush this entire year, 125 total tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 defensive touchdowns. Overall, he played really well. This contract was just a little bit rich for the Browns' blood. It's going to be interesting to see if they can replace his production in 2026, Steve.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just had a great year, guys. I mean, you couldn't have done better than how Bush did. I mean, what a player. Played excellent.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see what type of an impact he can have on the Bears defense that needs some help. On to tight end David Njoku. His 9-year run in Cleveland has officially come to an end after he and the team were unable to agree on an extension. The Sporting News, Vinny Iyer, predicts Njoku will land with the Baltimore Ravens, Steve.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. He appeared in 12 games and made 11 starts. It was a down year for the tight end, hauling in 33 receptions for 4 touchdowns, just 48 targets. This move was, the writing was on the wall with the emergence of rookie tight end Harold Fannin Jr. It's also not a surprise considering Njoku's last 2 seasons have been in decline after that career year where he made the Pro Bowl in 2023, Steve.
Yeah, and he had another good year with Baker Mayfield, but that was more time ago. So, I mean, you're moving on. Unfortunately, I love the Chief. What a player he was. I mean, he was a Browns fan favorite, and he could drink a beer after scoring a touchdown. He'd jump in and yeah.
We did enjoy that, Steve. Tackle Jack Conklin. They're moving on from their former right tackle after his contract was restructured in 2025 to allow him to hit free agency early. He'll still cost the Browns, $12.9 million cap charge in 2026. His tenure in Cleveland, he missed 44 of a possible 101 games per Cleveland.com. How many times, Steve, did we talk about him appearing on the injury report?
Oh, it felt like every single game. He was at least questionable. He was out most of them and then questionable about every game.
Yeah, Steve, he's just not the same tackle they acquired from the Titans. I was a little surprised they restructured his contract even when he was here. Guard Wyatt Teller, per NFL reporter, by the way, Aaron Wilson, longtime Browns guard Wyatt Teller is headed to the Houston Texans after agreeing to terms on a 2-year deal. Teller will be designated as a post-June 1 release for salary cap purposes. By the way, his 2025 season with the Browns always felt like his swan song. Injuries limited his production, and the younger Tavian Jenkins mysteriously started to steal reps from him down the stretch, Steve. I think the writing was on the wall. He was probably on his way out after this season.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because I really liked him. That was a top pickup by Barry. Remember, he came from Buffalo, and he had some good seasons with the Browns. We'll definitely miss him, Dave.
Absolutely. Cam Thomas, defensive end. Thomas is reportedly headed to the Atlanta Falcons to rejoin former head coach Kevin Stefanski. It's a 1-year deal per Adam Schefter, worth up to $3.1 million. The 26-year-old spent some of the 2024-25 seasons with the Browns, logging 310 defensive snaps last year as a rotational defensive end. His most memorable game was the Shador game, Steve. His first career start, Thomas posted a sack in that game, 6 tackles, and 3 quarterback hits.
So, yeah, that's really awesome, but I was watching Shador more,
I bet you were, Steve. Guard Joel Bitonio. I want to talk about that, guys. His contract was set to void on President's Day, but the Browns agreed to extend the date to allow the former Ironman left guard more time to contemplate his future. He spent his entire 12-year career with the Cleveland Browns. If he does decide to return, he'll be 35 years old. There's a chance that he'll want to come back and play for this team. I think it's 50-50 that he doesn't retire. Steve, your thoughts? Brent, your thoughts?
Yeah. I do think he's going to come back. Dave.
Okay.
He reminds me so much of Joe Thomas. I mean, both players, their whole career with the Browns, and I think he's, we're not expected to win a lot of games, but I do think that he could come back. They can talk him into one more year. And like you mentioned, he could be a great leader. He can help the team out. Hopefully, be a starter on that line.
Right, exactly. Brent, you think there's a good chance he comes back? Or
I think Steve's right. About maybe another year, kind of shoot for that for him, and just kind of have his exit,
swan
song, a little celebration for his service, his years of service for the Browns.
Yep.
And I think that'll do it. I think it's about time. Isn't it mid-30s? That's usually about the time they kind of go into the sunset.
You look to
they go out to the stud farm like a horse does, Anyways.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. I will say, I think he'll eventually be in the Browns' Ring of Honor. I think he'll be one of the more.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say he's an NFL Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's put together that kind of a career, but a really, really solid starting guard. And him and Teller actually, I thought at one time had the best guard duo in the NFL. By the way, I also want to mention Ethan Pochik at center. The Browns lost Pochik in December to a torn Achilles. With his contract set to void for just $4.3 million in a dead cap hit, Cleveland will most likely move on and add a younger depth piece at that position. Pochik will turn 31 in August. This year's free agent market at center, it's expected to be thin but extremely top-heavy. Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore is obviously the top target there at the center position. The Browns could find themselves turning to the 2023 sixth-round draft pick Luke Whippler, who started at the end of the season, or a middle-tier veteran. He's a solid player for the Browns since acquiring him in 2021. He started 13 games or more each season. This is just a position, Steve, where the Browns need to get younger and possibly get an upgrade, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree there. And I do think they're going to keep Whippler as well, but he'll be more of a backup.
I agree. I actually think I have their possible starter when I get into acquisitions here in just a minute. The last player I want to mention that they lost, to me, isn't really a loss, and that's running back Jerome Ford. After 4 years in Cleveland, Ford is heading to the Washington Commanders, on a one-year deal. This is an expected departure for the Browns. They added the 3 younger running backs to the roster in 2025. Just a diminished role in this offense. The latter part of the season, he lost time due to a shoulder injury. Running back is a sneaky need for the Browns. With starter Quinshon Judkins only a few months removed from that brutal leg injury. We both, feel that he can recover from that, Steve. But, I think the Browns need to add a depth piece here, right?
I agree.
Yeah. Cleveland will likely replace Ford, in some kind of fashion, either, with a one-year free agent deal or another later round draft pick, I think, Steve, possibly. I want to get into the acquisitions. Zion Johnson, a 3-year deal for $49 million per Adam Schefter. The Browns' first free agent splash fills a major need, as the Browns could need help at both guard positions this season. Johnson has some versatility, as he's played right guard for the Chargers as a rookie before switching over to the left side in 23. So he's played both guard positions, which is nice, which is going to be much needed for the Browns, especially if Petonio retires, right, Steve?
Exactly. And he blocked for, what did Brent say? The fraud? Justin Herbert?
It's my.
By the way,
is he still on the island? Did you send him some food or something?
You know what?
I guess he's struggling on the island. He's hungry or something.
After the playoff debacle that was that Patriots wildcard game, I'm with you on the fraud island.
Yeah.
That is Justin
Well, you got to send him some food, though. I feel sorry for him sometimes. Get him like a meals ready to eat, like a military. They have that little bag, and they open it up, and he gets to eat like soup and maybe like give some bread, and that's about it. Anyway,
I'll get him out a care package next week.
Okay, I'm just looking out for Justin. By the way, he's on there alone because your other buddy, the guy that won the Super Bowl, help me out, the quarterback of the Seahawks.
Darnold.
He's not on the island. He's gone.
He's caught the plane earlier in the year to get off.
He's like he's in he's hanging out.
Celebrating.
He's in Vegas. He's hanging out in L.A. Yeah. All right, continue, Dave.
Thank you, Brent. He brings some obvious promises. A former number 17 overall draft pick, but there's a reason the Chargers let him walk. By the way, their offensive line actually struggled last year, and Johnson's production not matched the reported $32.4 million in guaranteed money that he landed from the Browns. Johnson could feasibly slot in either the right or the left guard spot, so the versatility is going to help out, especially if Petonio does retire. I want to get into Elton Jenkins, the other guard. 2 years, $24 million per Ian Rappaport from NFL Network. The Browns were able to land a versatile player in Jenkins, who they reportedly tried to trade for. He wound up getting released and, Barry pounced. Jenkins' 2-year deal includes $20 million in guarantees. Jenkins had a pair of Pro Bowl appearances, by the way, Steve, in his seasons at guard for the Packers. He played all 5 positions along the line, so yet another versatile player, which is what we like, right, Steve?
That's excellent. I mean, Dave, you're going to need that because these guys, they get injured in Cleveland, That's how it goes.
A lot of wear and tear on those big guys, that's for sure. In 2025, he started Green Bay's first 9 games at center before suffering a season-ending leg injury in Week 10. There's some risk here with the player entering, 31. But Jenkins could be, the replacement to Pochik at center because, again, he's played all 5 positions with the ability to move to guard or tackle if necessary. The acquisition that I really like is Titus Howard, the offensive tackle from the Houston Texans. They traded for Howard to Cleveland in exchange for Houston traded Howard to Cleveland in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick from the Raiders. The Browns then signed Howard to a 3-year extension. Howard started every game for the past 2 seasons and played a total of 93 contests during his 7-year career. He was not the weak link on this Texans O-line. Steve, I watched some of his tape. He was strong in pass protection sets. He moves his feet really well. This past season, he had a 62.7 PFF grade, but he was very high amongst pass blocking marks. He committed only 8 penalties and did not allow a sack. Steve, this is our starter at tackle, I think, don't you?
Oh, yeah, and this is exciting here. I mean, that's a great stat to have, and he's been in Houston for a while, right? Like, didn't he even block for Deshaun Watson during his years that he was productive?
Yeah, veteran. And I think he's going to slot in up to one tackle position. I think the other tackle position, we're going to have to look at the draft, but we'll get into more of that in our draft preview. I want to mention linebacker Quincy Williams. The Browns secured linebacker Williams to a 3-year, $54 million contract. This move should help ease the loss of Devin Bush. Williams has transformed himself into basically a heat-seeking missile linebacker. He finished 2025 with over 130 tackles and, a reputation for being a really hard hitter. He moves really well sideline to sideline. It's just a really good tackler. I'm not sure he'll put up the same numbers that Bush did in 2025, Steve, but he should be a solid starter for the Browns, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I think he will be a solid starter, and he's going to fit right in with the dog pound, and he's excited. He wants to be here. Right? He's had a relationship with Rutenberg and with the Jets and under Saleh, so I think he's going to be a great pickup for us, Dave.
Okay, just want to get into a few other depth pieces the Browns acquired. A.J. Epinesa, the edge rusher from the Buffalo Bills. Veteran deal, 1 year for $5 million. Veteran deal, which provides, a rotational piece behind Myles Garrett. He's not a superstar. However, he's a productive physical presence who understands the demand of a very tough division. He had a pair of 6.5 sack seasons for the Bills and earned himself a second contract, but he fell out of favor with Coach Sean McDermott in 2025. He only logged 2 starts and played less than half of the Bills' defensive snaps. He should compete for reps right away with 2023 third-round pick Isaiah McGuire. So I think a good depth piece along the D-line, Steve. Calais Davis at defensive tackle. Davis started 17 games for the Niners, contributed 28 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 pass defense, 2 quarterback hits last season, along with being credited for a half a sack. This is a good depth piece at defensive tackle, especially with Collins coming off the injury, the uncertainty around Mike Hall. Are we ever going to get any production yet there? That's a 1-year deal worth $3 million, so I think a good depth piece at defensive tackle. Jack Stoll at tight end. The Browns added a depth starter at tight end to complement Fannin. Stoll is not really a receiving tight end, but he's earned a really strong reputation as a good blocking tight end. According to Pro Football Focus, Stoll ranks in the top 15 amongst pass blocking tight ends in 2025. Lastly, Tylan Wallace at wide receiver. Steve, this isn't the major impact guy at wide receiver we were looking for. He was selected in the 4th round of the 2021 draft in 5 seasons with the Ravens, including the last 3 with Monken, who has kind of has a sense of his skill set. Wallace caught 22 passes for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Oklahoma Star contributed, by the way, on special teams with 23 tackles and 20 returns as well. Monken is familiar with this guy. I expect him to be a depth guy at wide receiver, maybe a 4th or 5th receiver. I expect him to have a bigger impact on special teams, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, I think he'll be the kick returner, punt returner. Don't expect him to be involved in the offense too much. I see him more as like a 6 or 7 wide receiver.
Exactly. Brent, those are my thoughts on the players that departed and the players that we have acquired.
All right, well said. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Give us your thoughts on the free agents, the players they lost and the players they acquired in the offseason with Cleveland Browns.
We will get into the losses here, and this just was announced today, Dave.
Yes.
We lost linebacker Mohamed Diabate.
Okay.
He went to the Titans. I think we can replace him without a problem. I expect him to have a better season last year, actually. Like Devin Bush played so well.
Yeah.
Schlesinger.
Yeah.
So it was Diabate season like the odd man out. So I'm okay with the move. So he's out, guys. Wyatt Teller, guard. We lost Teller to the Texans. That's going to be a tough loss for us. He was one of our better linemen for years. And as we know that Barry got him from Buffalo, and we'll miss him. And he's probably going to do a good job for the Texans and blocking for C.J. Stroud, in the future.
Yeah, the Texans need real help on the offensive line, too.
They do.
Lost amid Stroud's bad performance. That was a bad offensive line last year, too, Steve.
Yep. I'll get into Devin Bush, which we lost to the Chicago Bears. This was our hardest loss on defense. Bush had a career year and created turnovers, which the Bears did the best, so he will fit right in with Chicago. I mean, imagine, we really are going to miss him, but he'll fit in right with Chicago. They made turnovers all season long. Dave.
Well, yeah, I know that was a defense that lived off of turnovers. I don't think it was necessarily a shutdown defense. So it was kind of a feast or famine defense. I think the acquisition of Devin Bush could really help that unit. There's a team that's really trending up next year. If they can improve on the defensive side of the football, there's a team that could take the next step next year too.
Exactly. Cameron Thomas, defensive end. We lost Thomas to the Falcons. Stefanski can have him. I'll never forget his critical offsides penalty in the Jets game that allowed them to get a first down with under 1 minute to play. So, good luck. We'll see you, Thomas.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford, running back. We lost to the Commanders, as you mentioned, Dave. I'm okay with this loss, and it was expected. So, I mean, there you go. In my opinion, he was a better pass catcher than he was running, and you need to be running when you're a running back. Like you mentioned, Dave, we're likely to lose Ethan Pochett, center, and David Njoku, tight end, who haven't signed yet with any other teams. Let's get into the Browns free agent signings. We actually acquired him in a trade with the Texans. Speaking of the Texans, Titus Howard, tackle/guard. We got the Browns are trying to replace nearly the whole line, as we've mentioned. So we're hoping he could start at right tackle, but he could be moved around. Zion Johnson, signed from the Chargers. He's expected to start at one of the guard positions. He's known to be reliable, and after starting 3 seasons with the Chargers, as you mentioned, Dave.
Yeah.
Elgin Jenkins, center/guard, signed from the Packers. He's expected to start at center or guard.
Versatility. This is what I like, Steve.
Yeah, the versatility that is excellent because you're going to need these guys. And he made a Pro Bowl with the Packers, so that was really good. My favorite signing so far is Quincy Williams, linebacker, signed from the Jets. He was the biggest name signed by the Browns so far. He will start at linebacker in place of Devin Bush and is expected to have 100-plus tackles. He played under Rutenberg as a Jet, so they've done this before. He was a Pro Bowler in 23. Quincy Williams, I see him fitting in with the dog pound, Dave.
Yeah.
He's really going to do something for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
have a comeback season.
I mean, it just will be interesting to see his productivity versus Devin Bush to kind of make that comparison from last year. Is there that much of a drop off at that position, Steve? I think it's something to really watch for come 2026.
Exactly. Tylan Wallace, like you mentioned, Dave, wide receiver, signed from the Ravens. As you mentioned, he played under Todd Monken with the Ravens. He's expected to be your kick returner and punt returner. And let's hope he can stay healthy. The Browns always had kick returners and punt returners getting injured in like the first game, something like the first kickoff, So maybe this guy can be kept around and play this year. I mean, that'd be nice for special teams. And overall, the Browns needed to replace the offensive line, so that they did that, like you mentioned, Dave. So they addressed some of those spots. They replaced Devin Bush. Not super exciting, but fans can get more excited for this upcoming draft, guys.
Yeah, I think they may have built, if all they did, Steve, is build the interior of this offensive line and acquire a tackle, it's been a really good free agent. And then replace Devin Bush. Yeah.
All right. Well said, guys. We are going to get into our last topic, and that is the top 5 NFL free agent pickups. And we'll get into what was the most impactful free agent signings of NFL teams. We will go in 5-1, the worst to first.
Yes.
And we will start with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, get us started here with the top 5 NFL free agent acquisitions.
Okay, let me start with number 5, and that's Travis Etienne. Etienne's contract was initially reported for a 4-year deal at $52 million deal, and he could very well see every penny. I've loved this running back since his days at Clemson. He's just, a good dual threat back. He had over 1,100 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns on the ground. He also caught over 50 passes a season over the last 3 years in Jacksonville. He'll form a scary duo with Alvin Kamara. And by the way, could take the mantle eventually from him at running back eventually, Steve. I think that's a good duo in the backfield, an underrated one, don't you think?
I do think so. And they're both good pass catchers as well. I like Etienne for Jacksonville, and I definitely like him with the Saints and Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, I do as well. The Saints' running game ranked 28th last year, so they needed a new back in this offense. ATN rushed for over at least 1,000 yards in 3 of his first 4 seasons in Jacksonville. This is a nice addition for this new look Saints offense. Second-year quarterback Tyler Shuck. I think you're starting to like a little bit of love there for Shuck there, Steve. This offense has a nice look going into 2026 with Shuck throwing it to Olave and this Kamara ATN backfield. This is a good move for the Saints. Watch out for ATN and this new look Saints offense in 2026, Brent.
All right, we'll get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us number 5.
Number 5, Brent, I have Romeo Doubs, wide receiver to the Patriots. Came from Green Bay. The Patriots needed a wide receiver, and Doubs can be that guy. He's expected to be a top-tier target and have a bigger role than he did in Green Bay. Not quite a number 1 receiver, but he's compared to a guy like Deion Branch when Tom Brady had Deion Branch to throw to from back in the day. I think he can fit right in with Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback Drake May. Not quite the number 1, but he might be treated as the number 1.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Does he replace the production that they lost in Diggs last year? Do you expect him to be as productive? Because Diggs had a little bit of a renaissance this year. I know he tailed off, in the postseason as the entire Patriots passing game did for much of the postseason in the Super Bowl. You think he can actually be more productive than Diggs was?
He's a younger guy, and I think he'll get more involved. And I think Diggs has just seen better days. He's getting older, and he's out. So I do think Dobbs can put up some production.
Okay.
We will get to Mr. Dave Green Show. Dave, give us number 4.
Number 4 on my list, Kyler Murray, quarterback for, by the way, Carter Bonds and Garrett Podell at CBS Sports. Murray agreed to terms with the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year deal, veteran minimum deal, a day after the Cardinals released him. Murray's salary for the Vikings will come in addition to a $36.8 million. The Cardinals still owe him, by the way. He gets a fresh start with a new team. I'm interested to see how this works. Again, I've never been the biggest Murray fan. Full disclosure, not the biggest fan of undersized quarterbacks that like to utilize their legs. He spent the first 7 years of his career in Arizona after being the number 1 selection overall in 2019. He got off to a really solid start to his career in Arizona. He was NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2019. He seemed to peak with Arizona with his best season coming in 2021, Steve. He threw 24 touchdown passes, had his best quarterback rating, and he led the Cardinals to the playoffs that year.
Yeah, I thought he was really on his way, and I thought that Arizona would be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be there for a long time. But now I hate to tell you, David, I think of more Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Murray was ahead of Mayfield.
At one time, yeah.
Now Baker's kind of ahead of Murray, and is Murray going to last?
I agree. Yeah, Murray just undersized, injured, and just...
Okay.
I do think he's got talent for sure,
he likes to play video games, and
does he take the game seriously?
Yeah, that's great.
Short of it, yeah.
He doesn't, and it just...
No, I get both of your points. The question is whether he can stay healthy. I think that's the bottom line. He missed 12 games last season with a foot injury, missed sizable parts of the 22 and 23 campaigns after sustaining a torn ACL. If he can, just stay healthy this season, there's real optimism in Minnesota. Steve, let's talk about it. We like his coach in O'Connell.
O'Connell.
He did good things with Cousins. He did great things with Darnold. The weapons on the outside. I think the Jefferson and Jordan Addison combination duo is one of the best in the game. The Vikings have always figured to try to be in play for one of the top quarterbacks in free agency after J.J. McCarthy struggled. By the way, a couple of guys named Brett and Steve told me this guy's a winner. This guy is the future.
Dave, you cannot give up on J.J. So even if Murray is the starter, as they're saying he probably will be, if Murray is to go down, don't give up on JJ. I still think he's the long-term answer.
I'm with Steve. We are in rare company about this JJ thing. First of all, he is a winner. He did do well in Michigan. I don't think he's had the best fit with Minnesota so far to get the best out of him, but I am not giving up on J.J. McCarthy. I think he will have a good career. He's going to be a late bloomer. Would you agree, Steve? Not an early riser. More of a late bloomer type. And
all I know is Cousins and Sam Darnold have flourished in an O'Connell offense.
I know. And I thought of that.
Okay.
But he doesn't necessarily, and I think it might take him a little time to get acclimated with the NFL. No, don't get me wrong, Steve. He did win some games last year, didn't
He
he?
beat
Okay.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
early
so-
in the season.
Well, listen, bottom line, the Vikings could drag out a quarterback competition throughout the season, and maybe this could benefit both players. Again, I've never been a big Murray fan. This is a chance for him to rejuvenate his career, Brent, and Minnesota might just be the right place to do it.
Well said. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, what do you got for number 4?
Number 4, Brent, I have Malik Willis, quarterback, Dolphins. Came from Green Bay. He's expected to step in as the Dolphins started right away with the loss of Tua.
Yeah.
He played so well when Jordan Love was out. Teams were looking at him. A lot of teams wanted to acquire him, get his services. He's a dual threat quarterback. They got him at a bargain, Dave, $22.5 million per year. So that frees up more money to sign other players for the Dolphins.
Steve, just a thought here, though. Again, it's a small sample size, so I wasn't as big on Malik Willis as some other people will. I mean, obviously, Jeff Hafley saw him being the defensive coordinator in Green Bay the last couple of years, so he has a sense of his ability and his skill set. I get that. Nevertheless, I do have to say, he's going into a situation that's not necessarily ideal because, again, this is not the same offense that it was a few years ago. They're really tearing this thing down from the studs there in Miami. I think this is a full-on rebuild. So this could be very tough for Malik Willis going into this situation next year because I think this is a franchise that's looking towards the future.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's expected to run RPOs and play action.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a rocket for an arm. So, I mean, we'll see what he can do. But with all these guys, that, like you said, that he gets a clean slate for a new team. But this team is just, like they have to rebuild. Yeah, total rebuild.
Yes.
So we'll see what they can do there, Dave. There's no doubt.
All right, we will turn to Mr. Dave Grinchell. Dave, give us number 3.
Number 3 is Kenneth Walker Jr. The Super Bowl MVP reportedly agreed. He gets a 3-year contract from the Kansas City Chiefs worth $43 million, up to a maximum of $45 million in bonuses, and includes $28.7 million in guaranteed money per the News Tribune. The Kansas City Chiefs went 6-11 in 2025. That's their worst record since 2012. After trading, star cornerback Trent McDuffie, the team opened up free agency by wanting to make a big splash. Signing the Super Bowl MVP Walker was just it. He split carries in Seattle, landing somewhere between 153 to 221 carries in his first 4 seasons with the Hawks. He really came on in the NFC Championship game and, of course, in the Super Bowl after that injury to Zach Charbonnet, who he split carries with. The decision shows just how much the Chiefs wanted to improve that position and regain their status as a championship contender. The Chiefs no longer want to rely on Patrick Mahomes, Steve, to bear the sole burden of lifting this offense, which, highlighted, over the course of the season, it was, he bared too much of the burden on this offense. Didn't you think, Steve? I think the running game could help here.
Yeah, they really need a running game in Kansas City, and boy, they got one with Walker. I mean, I love Kareem Hunt, but I mean, later in his career, Isaiah Pacheco, he's out to another team now. But
yeah, they got to have the running game.
Yeah, they
you're right. Come, Steve.
They did. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the Chiefs really haven't had this level of running back. I think really since Kareem Hunt in 2018, which was Mahomes' first year as a starter in Kansas City. We know that kind of the off-field situation derailed Kareem Hunt there in Kansas City. The Chiefs have worked to upgrade the O-line. The 25-year-old running back could run behind right guard Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey at center. So it's an improved offensive line, a solid group. It'll be interesting to see how Andy Reid utilizes him in this offense. He's often favored dual threat running backs. Remember his days in Philly with Brian Westbrook and LaShawn McCoy. Walker's not necessarily a strong receiver, only 31 receptions last year. It's going to be interesting to see how Walker does in what I expect to be a more expanded role in Kansas City. I've been a fan of Walker since his college days at Michigan State. He can run in between the tackles. He's shown an ability to be an explosive runner. I'm just interested to see if this is the move that gets Mahomes and the Chiefs back in contention in 2026, Brent.
Well said, Dave. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us your number 3.
Number 3, I have Mike Evans, wide receiver, 49ers. Came from Tampa Bay. I was surprised he left Baker in Tampa. Man, I wanted to see him be there. He didn't break the Jerry Rice record for he tied it 10 years in a row, 1,000-yard receiving. But he got injured last year, guys.
Yes.
So the 49ers are hoping that he can be healthy and be productive, which he's expected to be a top target for Brock Purdy.
Right.
And I'm sure Kyle Shanahan is excited to have him, naming him a dream wide receiver.
Yeah.
And He's got elite red zone. He's an elite red zone threat. I mean, he can score touchdowns, guys. You just throw it up to him. He's tall.
Yes.
He can grab those balls.
Big
and
body
score
receiver.
touchdowns.
Yes, exactly.
Purdy should work great with him. And Kyle Shanahan, one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the whole league. I think they're going to do just fine. He's just the guy that the 49ers needed, guys.
All right, well said. Dave, what do you got for number 2?
Well, great minds think alike, Steve. I'm going with Mike Evans as well. The San Francisco 49ers got him on a 3-year deal, $42.4 million, with just over $16 million in guaranteed money per Yahoo. The 49ers were expected to be in on some free agent wide receivers with, Juwan Jennings heading towards free agency. They pounced on Evans on the first day of the legal tampering period, inking him to that 3-year deal. This could be one of the biggest moves of the 2026 free agency period. I have it at number 2. He's a veteran playmaker with a great skill set. He's great in the red zone, contested catch king. He's the perfect big body receiver that would be really helpful in that red zone. This is a huge help for your guy, Brent. Brad Purdy gets a number 1 receiver. This could be big for him. This gives him a true number 1. Steve, big loss for the Baker Bros. Are you shedding some tears over there, buddy?
I certainly am, but the 49ers are not. And this is just the guy that they needed. I mean, Brandon Ayuk just sat on the sidelines.
Yes.
The 49ers have been missing out on a top receiver. They have top tight end George Kittle.
Yes.
But for wide receiver, they need a guy, and Evans is the guy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. This is a big move to kind of fill the void with Kittle recovering from that torn Achilles. He'll also clearly be the team's top pass catcher past the line of scrimmage after Kendrick Bourne left in free agency. Juwan Jennings is also expected to follow him. While there is still no word on the plans of Brandon Ayuk, who I guess hasn't decided whether he wants to play football again, the prevailing theory is he's no longer going to be a part of the team's future. Evans is 32 and coming off an injury-shortened season that marked the first year he didn't reach that 1,000-yard plateau that he had a run of. He will still, if he's still the same player, again, he's a potential number 1 receiver for Kyle Shanahan, adding another dimension to an offense, to kind of complement Christian McCaffrey in the running game and Kittle at tight end once he gets healthy. This also lets Ricky Pearsall move to a complementary second wide receiver role. This is a win now move for the 49ers, a solid move by a smart organization that filled a necessary question mark in my view. I'm excited to see how Kyle uses him and the chemistry he develops with Purdy. Guys, the NFC West continues to be the most interesting and toughest division in football, Brent.
Well said. Steve, give us number 2.
Number 2, I have Kenneth Walker, running back Chiefs, came from Seattle. Go figure. The usual champion Chiefs acquire the Super Bowl MVP from the Seahawks. I was a huge Kareem Hunt fan, but he was declining a bit, and Walker will be the primary workhorse for Mahomes and the Chiefs. And what a nice gift for Eric Bieniemy. By the way, guys, he is back at offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He likes running the football, and they will do just that with Kenneth Walker. This puts the Chiefs back in playoff contention and an AFC threat once again, guys.
All right. We get to Mr. Dave Green. So, Dave, get us number 1.
Number 1, Trey Hendrickson. The defensive end, former defensive end with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Baltimore Ravens have agreed to sign the free agent defensive end Hendrickson to a 4-year deal, $112 million deal that can be worth up to $120 million with incentives. The deal includes $60 million in fully guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus, sources told Adam Schefter, by the way. This deal keeps Hendrickson a 4-time Pro Bowler with the Bengals in the AFC North and provides the Ravens with a much-needed star pass rusher less than 24 hours after Baltimore backed out of the trade with Las Vegas Raiders defensive end Max Crosby. League sources told ESPN that the Ravens had medical concerns that arose during Crosby's physical. Crosby had surgery in January to repair a torn meniscus in his left knee. By the way, the Crosby situation still seems shady to me, Steve. The Ravens GM Eric DeCosta didn't do a good job of explaining the situation. Just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, he did not, Dave. And they just figured, why are we giving up all these draft picks when we can acquire a guy like Hendrickson just for the money as a free agent? And they just thought that Crosby wasn't quite up to health, Dave. So that's what that was there. They thought he wasn't up to health. But I think they're,
I think they just really wanted Hendrickson,
yes.
Long and short of it. Baltimore had 30 sacks in 2025, tied for the second fewest in team history. Hendrickson, arguably the top available player in this year's free agent class, an all-pro in 2024. By the way, in 2024, he led the NFL with 17 and a half sacks. He ended the 2025 season on injured reserve following a procedure to a core muscle injury, finishing with 4 sacks in 7 games. A third-round selection by the Saints, Hendrickson has 81 sacks in 9 seasons. I really like Crosby. He does play the run a little bit better, but Hendrickson is clearly the better pass rusher in my view. This is really a defense that needed this type of pass rusher. It's going to be interesting how he fits in Jesse Minter's 3-4 scheme. By the way, Baltimore had 54 sacks in 2024 and then fell to that 30 number in 2025. The Ravens' inability to generate a consistent pass rush, I thought, was a major reason they missed the playoffs. This is the move that gets the Ravens back in the playoffs and contending for the Super Bowl.
Well said, Dave. And we will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, what's your number 1?
Number 1, I too have Trey Hendrickson, defensive end / can play linebacker.
Yeah.
Ravens came from the Bengals. The Ravens started by trading for Max Crosby, but would lose too much draft capital. So what did they do? Turn the deal down and get Hendrickson for the money and not lose all those draft picks. I mean, that's basically what we just said. Don't you guys hate seeing this guy go from one AFC team to another? Going from the Bengals to the Ravens. I mean, we're Browns fans, and I would not want to lose a guy like Garrett and let him go to the Steelers or something crazy.
Well, I think this also speaks to the Bengals organization. You know what I mean? This is, and by the way, Joe Burrow's not going to like it once he gets that first sack from Trey Hendrickson once he has to face the Ravens this season. So,
guys, I just don't. I'm sure Roquan Smith will be excited, linebacker for the Ravens. To have Hendrickson, it's big. It's the biggest move in free agency, guys. The Ravens should be back on track in 26. I think Dave goes a little overboard on Baltimore. He goes a little bit.
He picks them every week. Other than that, he doesn't like them at all, right?
Well, I'm not calling them a Super Bowl team, but they're in contention.
Right.
They will be in contention.
I think as we talked about in our Super Bowl review, it's a wide open field, I think, next year in the AFC, guys.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, we will get to some final thoughts, and we'll get out of here. Dave, give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, just an interesting 2026 in free agency as far as the Browns are concerned. I like the holes that they filled along the offensive line. I think there's three starters there. If you can get 3 starters through a free agency, could be very, very big come 2026, especially maybe getting a tackle that I like. I think the tackle Howard could be a good player for them. Also interesting overall in the NFL at large. I thought there were a couple of teams I did want to single out. I thought the Rams made some good moves this offseason to kind of bolster their roster. I really thought the Panthers had some good moves on defense along the offensive line to bolster their team. They could be 2 interesting teams to watch come next year as well. But overall, Steve, just a very, very interesting 2026 year in free agency.
I agree with you, Dave, and it's nice to be in the saddle again with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And this free agency's been pretty good, man. And the Browns, like you said, getting those offensive linemen, that was very key. We look forward to the draft, but this free agency, then you had Tua going to Atlanta. So there's been other moves that we didn't mention. And Jalen Phillips, I think, Carolina.
A lot of good defensive moves out there. Kevin Byard, I think, going to your Patriots could be good. That's
there was a lot of good defensive moves. We wanted to name a lot of the big name guys. And the teams they went to, but I had a lot of fun, guys. Today.
Yeah, well said, Steve. Yeah, I'm just glad we got the band back together. We had a little bit of a break there, and we're kind of back at it. This was fun. Guys, we're going to do it again in a few weeks here. Hey, Dave, get us into the draft preview, what to expect.
Yeah, really excited about that. Excited about, talking about some of these draft prospects. We're going to talk about the Browns' needs, the position groups they need to fill. We're going to talk about the guys that we want them to take a look at drafting. And we're also going to talk about what constitutes a good draft for the Browns. I have a feeling that that's going to be centered on the right picks at offensive line and wide receiver.
Yeah. A lot of good upcoming content coming up on Browns and Beyond. Guys, have a good rest of your weekend. Take care.